The proper way to iron pants. If y'all don't know, I had this scar from when I was little and I wanted to do it myself. I always see my mom ironing my pants and my clothes, and one day it was my turn and I got burned. So, how do you properly iron clothes? So first of all, we're gonna mess this up because, and then we're gonna iron these pants the way they're supposed to be ironed. So we gotta line the creases. So, just like that. And then, go ahead and flip this side up. And start ironing. On deep crinkles like these, spray that water, iron away. Pull this up some more. For me, I really don't care about that crease that everybody's trying to make in the pants. Pretty sure I know how to do it, but I'm not worried too much about it. There we go. War burns with the irons. Have y'all ever had a war burn with an iron? Let me know. Comment down below. Okay, so now we're going to do this pant sleeve. Really don't have to use too much water unless it's like down here. My son's dad was like, be careful. That's a real old-fashioned iron. I mean, they get hot. So, you gotta be real careful with this iron. It ain't nothing like the old-fashioned iron. It's the original iron that works the best in these modern day irons. The fact that it's small, it's petite, the metal, it's just like, it's so perfect. And then got a little place where you set it down. Like, it's the old-fashioned stuff that is really worth the investment. You know, got a little bit more knowledge than the modern day inventions because it's more detailed, for one. It's all the way on 6 right now. It's more detailed, light and easy. Spray, steam, dry, period. Basic. Black and Decker, that is the brand. And it also has acetate, acrylic, nylon silk, polyester, rayon, blends of cotton, wool, cotton, linen. So your type of steam pressure. Choose wisely. And yeah. Another what? Buy another what? Scooter? You are a scooter-holic. You got a scooter addiction already? How old is you? So yeah. And my pants are done. At the end, I don't like to press too hard. I just like to go smooth on it. On the surface, just so that I don't make any more wrinkles. And that is how y'all iron. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this off. How many of y'all just unplug it? That's what I usually normally do. But when it comes to the antique and old stuff, you gotta show some respect. Show some respect. So yeah, I went ahead and turned that off instead of just unplugging it. And my pants are done. I already ironed my shirt. This is my shirt, and this is my outfit for the day, y'all. Talk to y'all next time. So I was having this conversation, and what we was talking about was how the world is changing, how the world is evolving, and I couldn't get away from that conditioned mindset of how we grew up and all of our ideas. I always had this idea that when you're younger, you're okay with the fact that people are going to be people. You can't really control what they do, how they grew up. It's a lot of movies that we watch about these kids growing up and wanting them to express themselves and be who they are. We don't want to stand in their way or stunt their growth. We want them to get to have the full experience of themselves. So what comes with that is when you feel like, most men feel like, okay, they feel like they have to be aggressive. They have to have some type of authority towards the situation. Those movies when, their son wind up gay and they, and it's usually the father is like an alcoholic and stuff, and he's like beating on his son because he's gay. Or there's also, the pastor's children's that wind up becoming rebels and sinners because they are too closed in and they are so basically trapped, trying to be, not really trying to be the perfect child of the pastor, but more so of trying to not really trying. That's the thing. The pastor forces their children. If they force the Bible upon their kids, so it's like the kids eventually starts going against. You start to you start going against everything that your parent wants for you because they force it upon you. They start to resent their parents. They start to resent anything that anything that the parent doesn't want the child to do. The pastor doesn't want their child to grow up a sinner. The father doesn't want their child to grow up gay. And what was brought to my attention was that, a lot of the reason why the children grow up gay or something is because, the father wasn't around, or the father didn't stand their ground and tell this child no. They're basically disrespecting us mothers for real, because just like, you're basically saying that what we do is not enough. The fact that the son is around the mother all the time, they're going to take on those traits. They're going to take on that feminine nature of the mother. And I feel like that's not really true, because for one, whether you're around or not, your child has those genetics of you. That child has that knowledge of you, has that wisdom of you, regardless, because guess what? Your child was spun from you. So you really have nothing to worry about. It's all genetically. Whether this child is going to turn out to be this way or that way, it's going to happen regardless of how much control you try to force upon the situation. And another thing I was telling him was that this world has influence, just as much as influence on our children as much as we have on our child. Genetically, yes, our child takes on everything of us. That's why you shouldn't worry or be concerned. But at the same time, it depends on how much you're around. Are you around 50% of the time, just as much as, the public is around your child, probably 10 to 20%? That 10 to 20% matters. It matters. And how often you're around matters as well. We already built the shell. The mother is the shell. The father is inside, what's inside of that shell. We already did our part. So whatever influence this world has on your children will not prevail. That's when the question comes in. Is the world stronger than your blood? Stronger than your experience? Stronger than everything that you've been through? Stronger than your ancestors? Stronger than your life? You really think you have to do more than what you have already produced? That's your testimony. All we're here to do is to continue raising this child. We did our part. We put in as much as we could, and we did. So now it's all about the experience. It's all about raising this seed, growing this seed, just as you would tend to the plants. It's an investment. Your child is your investment. We have to continue to nurture, feed, make sure this child gets their rest. Now it's all about the basics. We've contributed. We've done our part. There's nothing more you can do. There's nothing more you should need to do. There's a lot more we want to do, but when it comes to wanting, we don't always get our way. So why not let go and let these children grow? What I told him was that it's a lot of people. This world is a big world, a huge population of so many different people, so many different races, so many different, cultures. We're becoming segregated. Black people are leaving. Americans are leaving. They're going to different countries. And while they're going to those countries, those people from those countries are coming to the States and becoming Americans. They're coming here. So where does judgment truly fall? Eventually, judgment is going to fall completely. They're not going to have anything to say. They're not going to have anything that they can do. As long as people from other countries continue to come here to become integrated into our culture, our land, as long as they continue to come here, what can anyone do? What can a judge do when they say, oh yeah, you can't do this? When they were raised that way from another country, but you allowed them to be here, and then now you put them in jail for being, raised the way they were raised and brought up the way that they were brought up. There's not going to be a lot more they can do or say. Getting back to the point, though, is that when people say, oh, this person's gay, let's hope you mean happy. Because the fact that these people are coming across the country into our homes or where we are, where we were born and raised, they were born and raised differently. So how they were born and raised, how they were dressed, I said a lot of people weren't given the advantage of having a choice. They weren't given that advantage. They weren't fortunate enough to say, oh yeah, I want to dress this way. I want to dress that way. I want this purse. I want to have this. A lot of people wasn't fortunate to carry a briefcase and say, oh yeah, this is what this means. No. They wasn't fortunate enough to even have a briefcase, and the only thing they could carry were either their pockets, if they had pockets. If they don't have pockets, then they had pouches. And these pouches look quite like purses. So when they come into our country and they're carrying these purses or pouches, you can't say this person is gay. This person was brought up this way because they didn't have the choice. They wasn't fortunate enough to have a choice in the matter. They wasn't fortunate to have loose pants, so they had to wear tight pants. They had to wear tight shorts. They had to wear tight shirts. They weren't fortunate enough to have a choice of, oh yeah, medium, large, extra large, something fitted, something comfortable. They got comfortable with the uncomfortable because they had no choice. So when these people come into our country and we want to hurry up and say, oh yeah, you're gay, think twice about what you're talking about. Think twice about what you're saying and putting out there, because they were born this way. They were brought up this way, and be considerate with whatever you have to say. Think about it before you say it. Not everyone was as fortunate as you to have a choice of what they have to wear. They didn't get to have fun with their identity. This is their identity. And when they come into the country and they're here getting the experience, the least you can do, if you can, I won't say the most because no one's going to give the most, but the least you can do is have some respect. And don't just throw out anything to them, because you don't know their experience, you don't know what they've been through. And if anything, what you see is what they've been through. So let's, judge less and just respect the
Usher,
expression, because it's
about?
all
Usher,
only a lesson.
Usher, what's this about?
You smell the rain?
Usher.
This song, Listen, by Beyonce, rings a bell. And I feel like it's dedicated to the whole world. As much as we've been stripped of our pride, stripped of everything, stripped of who we are, stripped of our voice, this song is meant for the world and is speaking directly to those who stripped us of all that we are. That song, Listen. Listen to the song here in my heart, a melody I start but can't complete. Listen to the sound from deep within. It's only beginning to find release. Oh, the time has come for my dreams to be heard. They will not be pushed aside or turned into your own, all 'cause you won't listen. There's someone here inside, someone I thought had died so long ago. Oh, I'm screaming now for my dreams to be heard. They will not be pushed aside or turned into your own, all 'cause you won't listen. That song. I was watching this American Idol, and the little boy was singing this song, and it spoke so much volume. It spoke volume because when he was like, all 'cause you won't listen, and he pointed to the guy, and it's like he was pointed to the world. He was pointing to the world. All 'cause you won't listen. I'm screaming to be heard. My dreams will be heard. My dreams will be acknowledged. The voice that you think you made of me, the English words, the English language, the languages, the interpretations, the definitions, all of this you think you've made of me. All because you chose not to listen. You chose to turn the other cheek on my dreams, on who I am, and chose to define every single sound that came out of my being. This is my life. It's time for these kids, for these people, for all of us to take back our sound, take back who we are, and forget all of these glossaries and dictionaries and history and this, that, and the third, because guess what? It's a limitation put on our lives from being heard. Listen.